bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Well. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. How you doing? It's Thursday. Yeah, man. Let's do this. Open lightens all night long. This is truly bespoke radio, my man. All right, let's do this. It's Thursday, November 2nd. 306 days into the new year. Just 59 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? It's Thursday night. It's Fadernight. Ah, yeah. Open lines. Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom Live. All of that tonight. I'm in the chair. The call-in numbers are 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Simple enough. Facebook, YouTube, everything is Fade to Black. Jimmy Church Radio. I think our Facebook page is Jimmy Church Radio. Yeah, that's easy enough. I think YouTube is Fade to Black. There you go, man. Just go and do something. Click on those little buttons right there. Now, if you want to hang out with us on Twitter, obviously, at JChurch Radio, that's where you want to start, at JChurch Radio. But we use TweetDeck here. And, about once a month, I try to do that on Thursday nights and warm everybody up because we have so many new listeners here. And they hear us talking about Twitter, and I get that. And people just jump over to Twitter, and they're trying to see what's going on, and they're hearing about all of this action and these things that are going on, and they don't see it. That's because we use TweetDeck. Man, look at how many GIFs you guys busted out tonight. That's truly amazing. Absolutely amazing. Eric, you're off the hook. Karen, I have no idea where you found something that demented, but it's really, really, really cool. Justin, nicely done, right? Yeah, you guys are really. Oh, that's really good. Murph popped up with the dudes from the Atomic Site from from that show. How quickly we forget when we're live on the air. Look at these. These are amazing. Thank you, everybody. Man, Mike Aker, that's twisted. Loving the dancing dinosaurs. That's pretty good. Eric Stitt. What is that? Who is that? Is that Brianna? Who is that? That's kind of cool, actually. Nice socks. Anyway, okay. Hang out with us on TweetDeck. That's what we use. So you've got to get TweetDeck. That's one word, tweet and deck. TweetDeck. It's a Twitter product. Rumor has it they don't support it anymore. Then they say that they do. They support it through a browser. They don't have a standalone. None of that matters. Just go and get TweetDeck and start using it. And once you get TweetDeck happening, all you got to do is just get it running. Then come over to us, send out a tweet, hashtag F2B, and say, hey, somebody here help me set up TweetDeck, and we'll come to the rescue. We do it every single night. All right, there's always somebody needing help. But once you do, now you've got a system that runs automatically. One of the Fadernauts, post right now on Twitter, in the feed, hashtag F2B, post in the feed what, and copy me on it too. Do an @JChurch. Your screen, your TweetDeck screen. And so what it is, it's a bunch of rows of columns, and you can dedicate each column to whatever feed, whatever hashtag or person you want to follow. When somebody posts something in that feed, on that hashtag, or that user post, it automatically appears. It is friggin' cool. It's what Twitter should be, just automatically out of the gate. That's what, right here, this is what Twitter should be. That's what it should be. Somebody wants a Twitter feed. They want the current hashtags. They, if they want to follow, whatever, whoever, you can do it, right? And you don't have to go and search. And so there you go. You have your own feed up there, and so it acts normally, but it's automatic. It's beautiful. Thank you, Eric, for posting that. That's Eric's TweetDeck. Let me look at this. Okay, so he's got. He's got his hashtag F2B. Yeah, that's actually pretty effective right there. That's a good setup. And the beauty of it is it all runs automatically. So enough of that. Get yourself TweetDeck. Come and hang out with us. If you don't tweet, and that's not your thing, and I get that, we have 2 chat rooms, one over at KGRA. Very simple. Look at Mike Aker. See, I run a black TweetDeck. No, I run a white TweetDeck. You can change your colors, by the way. Look at Mike Akers, man. That's kind of like mine. That's how I have it set up. But there you go. So there's examples of what TweetDeck looks like. But we have a chat room over at KGRA. We have a chat room in Spreaker, and you can hang out and do your traditional chat. All right. Okay. All right. Man, I love my River Moon coffee. Where am I at? Oh, yeah. So when you're doing TweetDeck, set up a column also, hashtag F2BQ. That's Fade to Black questions. Yeah, River Moon Coffee. Let's look at River Moon's TweetDeck page. Ooh, look at River Moon Coffee. Serious business going on there. That's a TweetDeck page. Now, I'm going to retweet this. And just like Mike's and Eric's, I mean, that's what works for them. But look at the page. Now, so if you look at this here, those are tweets in columns and conversations going on. I know it seems a little complicated, but you can have 5 different conversations going on. And you get to get inside of the conversation, too, as well. That's what's really, really cool. Okay, thank you for doing that. You can also email throughout the show tonight, Jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. Last night we did the big announcements. Yes, we did. And hello, everybody, over on the Bunker Cam. We did the big announcement last night for our late night podcast star contest. The next late night podcast star contest. I think that's the name we're running with now. The next late night podcast star contest. It's long, but that's what's going on, okay? Courtesy of your friends over at Tascam Pro. Now, the contest is a simple one. If you have been wanting to do a podcast, to host a show, right? You've been wanting to do this, but you don't have the gear. You don't have the equipment. You don't have the technical skill set to go and select the gear or know what to do or get advice. But you have the talent. You have the idea. You have the dream. You have the name. You know what you want. You know, if that is you, you've got to enter our contest, because under the conspiracy umbrella, right, underneath that, where you have everything from awakening and consciousness and UFOs and Bigfoot and near-death experiences and parallel worlds and time travel and lost civilizations and lost history and Egypt and Pumapunku and Gobekli Tepe and all of the crazy stuff in the world. So if you want to do a podcast, right, and you want to be the next late night host to cover all of these, one of these interesting subjects, if that's what you want to do, join the Fadernauts. That's the first step. Just go over to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the membership page. No purchase necessary. It ain't that kind of party. You can join for free. We do that to confirm your email address and to make sure you are who you are. Okay? And then enter the contest. It's that simple. You got to be a registered Fadernaut. You have to live in the United States. We can't comply with every country around the world. There are rules and regulations that govern contests. We can't do that. But we're doing this. We can do it here in the United States. We can't even mess with Canada, man. That's even worse. That's worse than Santa Monica. Okay? So anyway, you have to live in the United States. And then submit an official pitch to us. And that official pitch, just like you would pitch somebody. If we were I wanted to hire a host right here. I wanted to hire a co-host or somebody to come in. I would have an audition. I would say, okay, somebody wants to do a new show on our network, right? Or any other radio station or internet or anything, you would have to pitch. They would say, okay, what have you got? What's the name of the podcast? What do you want to do? What's the name of the show? What do you want to do? What's it going to be on? How are you going to do it? What are you going to do? Right? Well, you got to be ready for that pitch. You got like 30 seconds to get somebody to say yes, right? So that's what you're going to do. You're going to pitch us. I want an audio recording of your podcast or show idea. Why you want to do it, why you need to do it, why you couldn't do it in the past. Give me your pitch. Record it. I don't care if you do it on your phone, your computer, your laptop. I don't care how you get it recorded. The recording quality doesn't matter. Okay, it's the passion. So pitch us. Give us the podcast name. I want artwork. I want a logo. I want it in a banner form. Why? Because this is your podcast. You got to show us that you are ready to go, that you are ready for the big time. That's what you got to do. You got to pitch. Now, the winner is going to get it all. Okay? All entries must be received by November 30th, 2017. To enter, just go to the Game Changer Network right there on jimmychurchradio.com. Click on that page. We're putting up all of the links to go and enter right now. They should be up. Let's see here. Rita, can you do that? Can you go ahead and post right now so I can retweet it as I'm speaking? And the links are right there. There is a specific link on the page, an email address to send your submissions to. Okay? That's the only way we are going to take it. Nice and fair across the board. Okay? So you submit your entry on our website, the grand prize, one Tascam Mini Studio Creator US 42, complete studios, everything there, mixer, mic preamps, mic inputs, headphone outputs, effects, everything that you need right there, connects up. We'll link you to all of the networks, all of the audio programs, everything that you need right there, boom, in a box. That's one. Two, you're going to have professional headphones. You got to have professional headphones, right? Okay? And you need a professional microphone. And so you're going to get that too as well. All together with the cables, done, boom. And then I'll help you with the sound. Okay? I'll make sure. Next step is this. Once we choose a winner, that winner is going to go back and record their first podcast. And then we are going to broadcast it here on the Game Changer Network. So we're going to do everything for you. All you got to do is bring us the talent. Okay? It's the coolest thing ever. We are going to give you the gear. We're going to give you the audience. We're going to give you the recognition. It's all up to you. This is the perfect thing for the right person. I'm telling you, I wish I would have had this opportunity when I first started. So we are looking for the next late night podcast host. So join the contest right now. Okay. Also, one of the things that I need to drive home here, you can't have a current podcast. You can't be a professional. You can't be somebody that's out there doing it. You can't be somebody with gear. You can't be somebody with a studio, with a bunker like this. No, that's not what we want. We want to kick start, prop up the next star, and we are going to find him. We are going to find that person. Okay? All right. Enter over at jimmychurchradio.com. Let's see here. Rita, where are you? I need the link up to the podcast, to the contest. Please post it so I can retweet it. Here it is. It's from yesterday. I don't know if I can retweet this because, I just did. Oops. Okay. I retweeted the one from yesterday, Rita. Okay. Thanks. Got it. We're all good. Okay. Oh, where am I at? Let me look at the clock. Now, speaking of podcasts, by the way, the Unity workshops over at UniWiki are starting their next podcast series. And the first one is going to be on portals. We would like for you to join that project. It's very simple. They need help. This is a community effort. So, again, we could do this ourselves. That's not what the Unity Project is about. It's about you and our community. So we need producers and writers. That first podcast, we're also looking for video and audio testimonials, information over on our Facebook page. We've got everything up here, too, in Twitter. You can go to theunityproject.org, or you can contact John at modernmasters.org or Rita at jimmychurchradio.com. And join, okay? Get in and join in on this action. It's very, very cool. Lots of work has been done already, but there are many podcasts to be done. It's not just one, okay? So there you go, unityproject.org, theunityproject.org. Okay, our next event is coming up pretty quickly here. It's going to be in February 9th through the 12th. 2018 at the LAX Hilton, and I'm talking about the Conscious Life Expo. Tickets and info are over at consciouslifeexpo.com. This is what's really cool. We've got River Moon Coffee is going to be there. New Pharma is going to be there. Life Change Tea is going to be there. So there it is. You can go and meet everybody. All of the Fadernauts, you know how we do it. Okay, so and we've got a couple of ideas that Rita and I are going to be doing. So come and hang out with us. That's February 9th through the 12th, and you just go to consciouslifeexpo.com. What's really cool is Friday night, opening night, in the Plaza Ballroom, I'll be hosting the Ancient Aliens panel, and that panel will be William Henry, Linda Moulton Howe, David Wilcock, Corey Good, Jay Widener, and we're going to do a special tribute to Jim Mars as well that evening. And that will be in the main room, the Plaza Ballroom, opening night, Friday night. It's going to be packed. It's going to be sold out. It's going to be amazing. And I would love to see all of you there. Plus, who knows? We might have that Fade to Black t-shirt cannon. Yeah. Maybe I'll throw out some bottles of River Moon cold press coffee. That's a good idea. Ice cold, right? Pinged in the head. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. Head over to the website. Just $2 a month. Apple and Android. Click on the podcast links. You can also become a Fadernaut in our membership section. Two different things. Podcast is one thing. Membership is another. Don't confuse the two. And you can do that over in our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com. All of our sponsors on the show are part of our family here. Please support the show by supporting yourself and helping yourself by supporting our sponsors. Life Change Tea, GetTheTea.com, River Moon Coffee, New Pharma, Ancient Life Oil, Sacred Skulls, and, of course, New Manna, Food Storage, and Bearing Optics. Talked to Bearing Optics for the last 2 days, and I got to tell you, they are so in love with the Fadernauts. Thank you again, New Manna. Ronnie and River Moon, everybody. New Pharma. Talking to Chip yesterday, they just love our audience. I mean, seriously, just thank all of you right now. Thank you. Okay, a couple of things really quick. Let's get this show cracking. It's open lines. It's Thursday. We're going to have Jon Rappoport here in about 9 short minutes, and then followed by open lines all night long. Happy birthday to today, by the way, David Schwimmer. David Schwimmer is 51. And he made the list because basically I didn't have anybody for this spot today. I didn't have anybody. And I'm like, do I do Schwimmer? Do I say happy birthday to David Schwimmer? Well, I decided yes. And you know why? I had to dig deep on this, but honestly, it's pretty legit. He made the list. He got through today because he did pretty good playing that giraffe in Madagascar. So there you go. Happy birthday to David Schwimmer. On this day in history, OTD. 1947, it went down. The Spruce Goose flies. The largest aircraft ever built is piloted by its designer, Howard Hughes, on its first and only flight right here in Los Angeles, California, down in Long Beach Harbor. They used to have this display down there. It was a dome, a geodesic dome, and it's the largest plane, right? And so you think it's the largest aircraft ever built. And so when you pull up and you're looking at the dome, you're like, that's kind of tiny, and you're expecting, you go in, and I went when it closed. By the way, I was a special guest, and we went through a door, and this is years ago, and before they moved it, obviously. It went in, and I looked, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty big. You know what? It ain't that big. It's not as big as, it's kind of weird. Anyway, the Spruce Goose, 1947. Everything happened in 1947, including the Spruce Goose in Long Beach Harbor. Fader fact. This is vetted. Fader fact. Barns are painted red because red paint is cheap. The paint is cheap because iron is plentiful. Iron is so plentiful because it's the final element formed out of a star's death. And that is a Fader fact, and that's why barns are painted red. You only get that kind of stuff here, right here, Fade to Black. That's what I'm talking about. Tonight's another Fader night, open lines all night long. Jon Rappoport's going to be here in 5 minutes. But there's no more fake newsroom live. The call-in numbers are 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Well, the big news happened today. It broke. The big news. It's what we've been waiting for. Like I've been waiting for that River Moon coffee. You've got to get your Fade to Black blend, by the way. You hear me talking about it all the time. I'm telling you. Every time you take a sip of River Moon coffee, you're going to turn to the person next to you and you're going to go, that is the best coffee I've ever had. You should get your own. It just flows out of you. It's that good. Well, the big news happened today. And I was talking for the last 3 or 4 years, but certainly the last 3 or 4 weeks, about how the news is bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger every single day. How do you top the news from the day before? And here we go. You want me to give you the news that will cause you to forget the news of the last 2 months? Are you ready? They have found a new chamber inside of the Great Pyramid. That's right. They found it. It's actually happened. An international team led by Kuiniro Morishima at Nagoya University in Japan, he used muons. You know, those high-energy particles generated when cosmic rays collide with our atmosphere, muons. To discover this huge, not a room. This isn't one of the tunnels. This isn't Gate and Brink's door. No. That's not what I'm talking about here. This is a chamber above the Grand Gallery. It is so big. Right now, they are guesstimating. Thank you, Mark Toronto, for posting these images. It'll give you an idea of how they found it and where it's positioned. That's the muon's collision going on above it, right? Okay, so let me retweet this. Let me get this out there to everybody so you can, there you go. Thank you. It's 90 feet long. 30 feet high. Look at that. Now, they've got a challenge here. They've got to get to it. There's a way into this chamber. That's going to be next. Now, they are continuing the muon bombardment of this chamber. They are going to continue with the news, but this is the biggest news to come out of Egypt maybe ever. It's one thing to getting into the Great Pyramid and how they did it, and dynamiting in and getting in and of course getting up and finding the antechambers and everything above the king's chamber and all of the shafts going out of the Great Pyramid. These were all great discoveries, but they thought that was it, that there was nothing else to discover. You know, I'm glad they kept their foot on the gas and they kept doing this, because now look at that. 90 feet long. This isn't some little room. This isn't some little thing. No. 30 feet tall. They're still guesstimating on the width. Okay? They're working on that information right now. But if you look and you see the position of it, and especially when you're looking at it from this angle, it looks like there should be something there very close in the top relief chamber above the king's chamber. Could there be an entrance there? No telling what's going on here. But look at that, and what's in there? What is it? Has anybody been in there since the pyramid was built? Could it be a library? Could it be information? We don't know. Could there finally be some hieroglyphics describing what's going on? Or is it going to be something else? You know, it's something else altogether. You know, we are Atlanteans. We're Lemurians. A bunch of grays, carved in the wall. How about some computers? Something crazy, right? I just hope it hasn't been entered since the pyramid was built. But there it is. That is the biggest news we've had in a long, long time. And that is real excitement. We'll be talking about this all night on the show. So right now, let me get out of here because Jon Rappoport is right here, ready to go in the batter's box. This is Fade to Black. It's Thursday night. It is Fadernight. Open lines all night long, and I'll be right back with Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom live. Stay right there. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. This is Fade to Black, truly bespoke radio for the masses on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'll be right back.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Tepe.
So are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at kgraradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. kgraradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
And now, coming to you from the No More Fake Newsroom in deep space, which is the space that we suspect to be true, that the world as it is fed to us every day by the Ministry of Truth is a lie, a false reality, a movie projected on the screen of our subconscious. This, however, is the breakout. All the screens crash, they all go down, and we see the light of day, a new day. No more robots, no more androids. It's the No More Fake Newsroom with Jon Rappoport. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Jimmy. Good to be here, everybody. Okay, let's jump right in here. I want to take you on a little trip tonight here into the deep state. And I want to start with Christopher Steele, who's the ex-MI6 spy from England that put together this thing called the Trump dossier. This is the thing that has been used to claim that there was collusion between Trump and the Russians in influencing the election toward Trump, which Russia favored. Now, in order to get where I'm going here, you've got to understand a few of the things that were in this dossier that Steele gave to the FBI, to other intelligence agencies, to the DNC, to Hillary Clinton, to GPS Fusion, to who knows how many other people. One, that the Russians had blackmail information on Donald Trump. Two, they could use this information to control him. Three, they wanted him to become president. Four, so they could control him. This has not been widely disseminated, what I'm talking about here. It's the guts of what's in that dossier. Yes, there was other stuff about how Russia had supposedly hacked into the DNC and the emails and all of that, and released them or passed them along to WikiLeaks, who released them, et cetera, et cetera. But no, the guts of the dossier were what I just told you. That's explosive stuff. Okay? Now follow me on this, because the major media are not only not reporting on it, but they apparently didn't even consider that it was important enough to think about this dossier. Or, and this is where I'm going, that the press is so controlled that they were forbidden to think about it and publish either editorials or articles about the implications here. Assuming that this is true, that Christopher Steele really got high-level information about this from the Russians, because as a younger man he was stationed in Moscow and he was under diplomatic cover and he was actually an MI6 spy and he had Russian connections, so he could go back to them. The idea that Russia had blackmail information on Trump and therefore they could control him and therefore they would do everything they could in order to get him elected would be one of the most tightly held secrets in Russia. This would be, in intelligence circles, a very, very, very high-level operation that went all the way up to Putin. They would hold this secret under, vaults within vaults within vaults within vaults. Get it? Get it? Get it? Get it? Get it? They would not simply spill the beans about this plot, this high-level plot to basically control the White House in America. And yet, this potato head, Christopher Steele, was able to talk to his high-level Russian intelligence contacts, and they just spilled the beans. Boom, here we go. Yes, this is the plot. Yes, 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 yes. If you were a high-level Russian intelligence agent and you were in the process of spilling the beans to this nobody, Christopher Steele, who was going to turn the information over to everybody and anybody, you would know that your life is in extreme danger from the head of Russia because you were just spilling an incredibly high-level secret that you were supposed to keep your mouth shut about no matter what. And yet, nobody in the press is getting to the heart and soul of that fact. Why in the world would some little goofball named Christopher Steele, an ex-MI6 agent, be able to pry this information loose as opposed to it being an utter fabrication? Why isn't the mainstream press talking about this, asking about this, ridiculing this as completely absurd, a completely absurd scenario? Because they can't, because they're controlled, because they're basically a CIA operation, the press. Because the powers that be, including the CIA, wanted this dossier to be looked at as genuine, not as a buffoonery, an obvious con job. That tells you something about how controlled the press is. Now, there is another possibility here, and that is that there was no such blackmail information that the Russians had on Trump. That they didn't particularly want him to be president or not be president, that they had nothing to do with this, but when this intelligence agent from Britain came calling, they decided to puff him up with a whole bunch of lies that would later explode as the Trump dossier and create more chaos within the U.S., divide and conquer, et cetera, and pit one side against the other, because that's good as far as Russia is concerned. To have people looking across a fence at each other screaming at each other. No, it's Trump. Yes, it's Trump. No, it's Hillary. Yes, it's Hillary, etc. On and on and on and on and on. Where does this all go? It goes to the fact that the CIA thinks it owns the country and it is the president. Let's widen that to be the intelligence community at the highest level in the U.S., which includes a number of agencies like the NSA, the CIA, the DIA, and so on, and secret intel groups within the Pentagon. They consider they are the president of the United States and they control the United States. It's theirs. They own it. Now, let's go back into a few presidencies. Let's start, let's say, with Clinton. You can even go back further than that. Let's start with Bush Sr., with Clinton, with Bush Jr., with Obama, with Hillary if she had been elected. The CIA considered that things were okay. They were under control. Then came along a phenomenon. That's what I'm going to call it, the Trump phenomenon, which includes him, but also huge numbers of Americans who, going back at least as far as Ron Paul and further, and the introduction of the internet, were percolating and percolating and percolating about this thing called freedom, and this thing called not trusting the press, and this thing called not trusting the government, and this thing called not trusting the mega corporations, and not trusting the intelligence community, and not trusting the establishment and the deep state. And this phenomenon suddenly began to gain explosive currency on the American scene during the campaign of 2016, at which point the sense within the CIA that they owned everything and controlled everything in America, including, most importantly, the flow of information, began to wobble, and they began to think that maybe there was something going on here that had reached a level that was worrisome, that was possibly going to challenge their control. This has, I don't want to get into the, is Trump the good guy, the bad guy? Is he a fake? Is he real? Let's call it the phenomenon, which includes him, but millions of Americans who had lost faith and trust with the owners of America. What to do? How to handle this? This is not a simple problem, because if you screw it up, things get worse. People begin to expose your attempt to reassert control. And believe me, control is the item. This is the thing. This is what these people want. This is what they live for, the people who think they own America. This is what they wake up with and go to sleep with every night. This is all they've got. And they are not about to give it up. As the novelist William Burroughs once wrote, control is controlled by the need to control. And this is a deep need in these people. These are the people with dead eyes. These are the people who have no life in them except the life that they can feel by control over others. And so when something comes up on the horizon that seems to be threatening this, all bets are off. And so now you see chaos, conflict. You see attempts to divide and conquer accelerate inside the country, because America is the last bastion on the map, on the global map. If America falls, No matter what you think of America, the planet falls to globalism. Borders will be erased. Nations will cease to exist. We will have a much greater degree of global management than we have now. It's already happened to a large degree in Europe, and the primary target is the U.S. When the CIA was created in 1947 by Harry Truman, it was supposed to be an intelligence gathering and reporting agency. But after World War II, there were other forces at work, much more powerful forces than the president. And so vested into the CIA and asserted by the CIA was this concept that because they were a secret agency, beholden to no one, with a gigantic budget that would get bigger every year, that they could own the country and be, in effect, the president no matter who was sitting in the Oval Office. And that is what happened. And that is the deep state. And that's where control began to pass. And the 1960s assassinations of JFK, RFK, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, these were all stepping stones on the path. So what we see here is the maneuvering and the manipulating and the attempt to put the genie back in the bottle. And at this point, let's not even call it the Trump phenomenon anymore. Let's just call it the liberation phenomenon. Untold millions all over the planet have seen enough now to know that they no longer trust the long traditional established institutions of rule, which include corporate institutions as well, and giant foundations and governments. The trust factor has been broken. The hypnotic spell has been broken. The amnesia has been broken. And when that happens, all bets are off. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. If you clamp down hard with too much force, more people wake up. More control is lost. This is the wave that is moving around the world every 24 hours. And it keeps on building. And the CIA is trying to figure out what to do, just like the Russian intelligence services are trying to figure out what to do, like MI6 is trying to figure out what to do, like every massive intelligence establishment in every country, Germany, France, Italy, China, India, is trying to figure out what to do. What do you do with this thing? You try to define it, you try to steer it, you try to channel it in a certain direction, you try to split it apart and pit it against itself. You try various very recognizable maneuvers. Terrorist events. You try all kinds of things to get, as Ben Franklin said, people to trade their freedom for security. But when that's not working, these people have a very serious problem. And they will mount all manner of covert ops and information ops and lies, like the dossier, in order to confuse, befuddle, create more chaos. They don't have a plan. This is the thing you've got to understand. Stop thinking that the conspiracy controls all like a computer playing chess against an amateur. This is not the picture, my friends. This is not the picture. People who believe in that are just making an excuse so that they themselves can remain passive and say, there is no way out. That's their choice. But that is not the plan, and that is not the picture. There come moments when control does not know what to do. And that is what's happening now. They are scrambling. They are trying one thing after another. Genie back in the bottle is the operation. How do you do it? Where do you go? We've had the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. And if you want to look back at the cultures of these times and the operations that were mounted and how people began to see how they were living inside of covert ops, and their children began to see. It's coming apart for them. That is what's going on. Now, they're not surrendering by any stretch of the imagination. They're not giving up. But they have a much harder time than most people would be led to believe. Looking at it from one perspective, you can say, well, nothing's really happened. They're still in control. They still have all the power. It's ridiculous. Really? Then why are they making such a titanic effort to put the cork on the bottle? Looking at it from another angle, which is the angle that I look at it from, what I, would call independent media, but what does that really mean? This show is independent media. I'm independent media. There are untold thousands and thousands of independent media operations going on. What does that mean? That means that people are not only investigating and researching, but they're finding their own angles of perception as to what's happening in the world, and this is leading to a multiplicity of points of view being expressed very forcefully. And any one of these points of view in a given situation can wake up a given individual. Whether he agrees with it or not, he can say, my God, wait a minute, let me start thinking about this. The results of such a phenomenon are unpredictable. There is no algorithm for it. It is not something that you can say, oh, well, yes, we see the variables here, and so this is what we do now. Boom. They can try that, but they can see the result. Freedom is not a variable. That's why they try to knock it out, because they want to control a world through formulas, equations, algorithms. Freedom is not one of their variables. Freedom is inherently unpredictable. What you think, what you discover, what you conclude, and what you do about it, all of those are unpredictables. Think about these things. And that is where I'm going to leave it for tonight.
Thank you for that, John. Did you call Steele a potato head?
I believe I did.
You know, some people have been sued for that. You know, I'm just letting you know. But that's it is.
Nah, you can't sue me for calling somebody a potato head. I mean, if they could try, somebody could try, but it ain't going to go very far. Did you call sir? Testifying, did you call him potato head? Yes, I called him a potato head. What does that mean? That means he has a head and a brain like a potato. What kind of a potato? Well, ultimately a mashed potato.
Oh man! And all that popped into my mind was Mr. Potato Head, the plug-in nose, the ears, you know, and it so fits, right? It just so fits. Yeah, that's what you would say in court. I didn't call him a potato head. I called him a Mr. Potato Head.
Mr. Potato, Sir Potato Head.
Sir Potato Head.
Yeah, because look, it's like if you or I said, you know, we're hired, somebody pays us $2 million, and we say, yeah, well, we just got back from China, and wow, let me tell you what they told us that they're planning to do to the United States. I mean, this is super secret stuff, and I sat down in a couple of cafes with a few Chinese intelligence agencies. They just spilled everything to me.
Right.
People would look at you like, man, this guy needs to be put into a mental institution.
Right. And the other part of this, which I find so interesting, do you think that, and you and I briefly talked about this on the phone today, but do you think that this was done with intent? You know, this is like 2 years old now from the beginning of the dossier and how it was done and his alleged trips over to and trying to figure things out, because you have some Russians supplying him with information, allegedly. Again, he could have made it all up. The MI6 and that part of it, the whole James Bond thing. Do you think that the agenda was playing out as they intended back then, the way it is today? That's what I find so interesting about this. I mean, did they have a big grand plan?
You know, I don't think that they had it all figured out. I don't. And this is what I'm pointing out. The unintended consequences and the hubris of these people.
Right.
In other words, they may have said, oh, look, it's going to be 1 followed by 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the sequence. We can see it. And then all of a sudden it goes haywire. Well, wait a minute. How did that happen? Yeah, it happened because you guys didn't factor in certain things that you can't factor in. It got out of control. You know, the lion got out of the cage, and now we don't know what's going to happen. We don't.
No, we truly don't. And you know, and there's three ways to look at it. He made it all up. That it's one political party's agenda, or the other side of it. What if the thing actually turned out to be true? Now that, I mean,
sure. Or what if the Russians said, "Look who's coming! We got a really good opportunity here to make up a whole bunch of lies."
Right.
Give it to him.
Right.
Let him go back, and because we can create a whole bunch of chaos with this.
And that's the other part. You know, what if? You know, and once it is going to get unraveled, there's no doubt about it. It's going to get unraveled. I don't know how much of the truth is going to make it back to us, you know, at ground level, but it's not going to be what we think it is. Once we find out what the real truth is, everybody could be wrong, John. You know, we just don't know.
We'll see.
Thank you so much, my friend, and don't go changing. And I hope you sleep well tonight, as I say every Thursday night. Thank you, John. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Jon Rappoport. Start your day every day at nomorefakenews.com, just like I do. Oh, I do. All right, opening up the phone lines. Here we go. It's Thursday night. It's Fadernight. What do you think about that new chamber just discovered at the Great Pyramid? All of that and much more. Phone lines are open. It's your show. 323-825-5045 or 275-9695. I'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network at KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas. Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go back, Lee Tappy.
Hello, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
Yes.
We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Ancient Life Oil. Life-changing. The real oil. CBD is truly ancient life oil from the source. This oil has no psychoactive effect and is also legal in all 50 states. When you're healthy, you're happy. The truth about this wonderful plant is that it wants to give back to mankind life, longevity, and happiness. Ancient Life Oil are golden grade, all organic, non-GMO, and infused with high-quality liquid coconut oil. It's simple. Just go to ancientlifeoil.com today. That's ancientlifeoil.com. The best, purest, organic, and non-GMO CBD in the world. Go back, Lee Tappy. The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare professional about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Fadernight, Thursday night. I'm in the chair. Phone lines are open. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Don't forget to visit all of our sponsors. Life Change Tea, GetTheTea.com, River Moon Coffee, New Pharma, Ancient Life Oil, Sacred Skulls, New Mana, and Bearing Optics. All of their banners are over at jimmychurchradio.com. All of the programs, all of the promo codes that you need for discounts, free shipping, all of that stuff is right there in each and every banner. All right? And so with that, the news today, before I get to the phones, the news today coming out of Giza is extraordinary. We do nothing but talk about lost history, lost civilizations, and certainly with Mesopotamia and ancient Sumer, the tablets, all of the cylinder rolls, those, and of course Egypt. All of the timing of this based on 3000 BC and the start of civilization as we know it coming out of there. I question everything, and I know based on the evidence that we have today, we have the strongest evidence ever today being put together by so many different researchers and archaeologists out there and geologists that dating of our history is wrong. And we have been told by Egyptologists and everybody that there's nothing else inside of the Great Pyramid. That's it. There's nothing there. You're wasting your time. And things like Ganton Brink's door, right? And the air shafts and what the purpose of those air shafts were. Why would they seal an air shaft? Well, that takes air shaft out of the play, right? There's a door there. When you are constructing the pyramid, think about this. You're laying, multi-ton blocks, 2.5 million. You're building the pyramid. As you're going up level by level and constructing these rooms and these chambers, of course, the Grand Gallery, the Queen's Chamber, the King's Chamber, and you're building all of this, and the shafts that are going through there, to build a perfectly straight air shaft or the Grand Gallery, as you are laying bricks, blocks, layers and layers and layers. These are perfectly constructed and straight. These air shafts are straight. You've seen the video. The videos are crazy, right? You're shooting straight out, hundreds of feet out to the exterior of the Great Pyramid. Think about that. How do you engineer that? You don't have CAD systems. Allegedly, you don't have computers. You don't have paper. You don't have plans. You're not engineering. That's not what is going on here. That's what they want us to believe. They just built it as they went, right? They figured it out over hundreds of years. They figured out how to do this, so they just went and built it. No, right? No. And to think that Great Pyramid, that was all there was to discover in there. Ganton Brink's door. Go and look at any of the videos. Go look at the original websites that go back to 1995, and go and look at that. The discovery of that with a robot, getting up there, getting a camera in there, and finding of all things a block blocking the shaft with the metal bolts or whatever they were in the middle of it. Why block an air shaft? If it was there to look at the stars, why are you blocking it? What's there? But more importantly, what's on the other side? And when they finally drilled through that, now allegedly there was nothing to discover. That was a big deal. I was hoping there would be some kind of chamber or some kind of room, and that was an entrance into something. We were all hoping for that. But when they drilled through it, you know what they did find, which I found extremely interesting, right? And the shaft is this big, right? It's this big. It's 8 inches by 6 inches or whatever it is. Small. Graffiti right there. They don't even know what it says. It's some kind of language, and it's there. Somebody wrote on a block right there. Don't know what it is. Is it a quarry mark? Is it a message? Does it say something? Right? So now we have this. Now, we weren't supposed to discover that. Now we have this, a massive 90-foot by 30-foot tall chamber above the Grand Gallery. What is it? This is extraordinary. And how do we get into it? Right? It was built for a reason. What is it? And what is inside of it? We're going to talk about all of that and more tonight. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Phone lines are open. And let's go to the phones. It is Fadernight. Hi. You're live on Fadernight. You're first up. Who's calling?
Debbie from Sacramento.
Hi, Debbie from Sacramento. How are you?
Wow, first call out of the gate. Good, Jimmy. How are you doing tonight?
I am fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Right. Well, I've been wanting to talk to you ever since this last Monday when you brought up the thing about the Tom DeLonge interview with Joe Rogan. And I had watched that too, and I had to absolutely force myself to watch all of it because I was so disgusted that I wanted to tune out. But I was like, let's just see how this plays out. And at the end of it, I had two major thoughts. And one was, I couldn't imagine in a million years Jimmy Church conducting an interview like that. And the other thing was, I can't imagine a guest conducting himself. Can you imagine someone like Richard Dolan going on there and doing that kind of an interview representing our community? It was just it was such polar opposites. And the problem, aside from Joe Rogan, that was like watching someone shoot fish in a barrel.
Right.
Was that Tom kept painting himself into a corner. He'd make these statements, and he's like, well, where are you getting at? Well, I can't get into that here. And he kept kind of doing it to himself. And then it was a contest as to who could drop the most F-bombs. And it actually made you, as far as I was concerned, Tom DeLonge, it made him look less intelligent and took away his credibility. And I don't know if it was because Rogan was getting him flustered, by challenging him, but he was clearly uncomfortable. And he didn't get defensive. He took it pretty well, but you could tell he was making him more and more nervous. And the whole interview just was disgusting.
Yeah, it was difficult to watch, and all of your points are spot on the money on both sides, observations on both sides. But when you start off out of the gate, Rogan, by intent, put DeLonge on the defensive in the very first few seconds of the interview. And that was an indication of where things were going. But once you do that, once you get somebody back on their heels like that, you don't recover mentally. You are not engaged back into the interview. And the other part of it is this. Once you do that to a guest and you put them back on their heels, no matter how many times you ask them the same question over and over again like Rogan did, you're not going to get anything out of that guest. You're not. If you really are interested, I'm speaking about Rogan, if you are really interested in trying to extract this knowledge, this information out of somebody like Tom DeLonge, if that is really what you want to do, then you do the opposite of what Rogan did. You make the guest feel comfortable. You let him know that he's welcome. You let him know that you guys are on the same page and are trying to discover and get to the bottom of this mystery together. That's what you do. And then Tom starts singing like a bird. That's what you do. And I'm not saying that Tom wouldn't start revealing things that he shouldn't, and that's what I would do with him. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Tom wasn't there to be his friend anymore. Tom wasn't going to give up anything on that show. Tom wasn't going to be cool. He didn't have to be, And
he was being attacked. Yeah,
that's right, and that's Rogan's fault. So in the end, the show's a disaster. Rogan got absolutely nothing out of DeLonge. DeLonge ultimately didn't do any service to the stars. Everybody that's working for him. Can you imagine, these CIA guys and skunk work guys and military guys that are there working with him, watching this interview, kicking back, going, well, we look like schmucks. And if they aren't looking like schmucks because of DeLonge. They're looking like schmucks because Rogan decided to handle it the way that he did. He was just wrong. You don't do it that way. You just don't. There could have been, and everything that you just said is spot on the money. All you have to do, and Joe knows right from wrong. He's a smart guy. He's really, really smart. But instead, for whatever reason, when you turn around and you decide as a host, as an interviewer, to take that path, and once you go down it, and Rogan with, he's physically intimidating. He knows, and so because of that, his mindset is a little bit different than your typical interviewer, and which is fine, which is why we love Joe, right? That's great. But also with him and the way the UFC and the people that he hangs out, and so forth, if you start to get your adrenaline going in that direction, you turn into a predator, you turn into a troll. And he was doing just that, man. He kicked him.
Well, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He got him on the mat. He got him on the ground, and he just continued to pummel him. And there was no way at that point that the interview was going to go anywhere. DeLonge wasn't going to tell him anything. They couldn't wait for that thing to get over with. And that includes DeLonge, and that includes Rogan.
Yeah.
Rogan said at the end, man, I can't wait to, for this thing to end. And that's unfortunate. The whole thing was handled wrong. You have a great interviewer in Rogan. You have a great guest with a huge audience in Tom DeLonge with really groundbreaking stuff going on in his life and what he is personally invested in, and not only financially but career-wise. He's put it all on the table. That's a perfect show, and it got blown. It got blown from the word go. I was hoping for some really cool look, what I would have rather have Tom on this show, a lot of people would a lot of there's a lot of hosts and radio and so forth and media outlets out there that would love to sit down with Tom DeLonge and have that, because it's a good get, right? Well, I didn't. Tom chose to go on Joe Rogan. I guarantee you that they realize now that it was a bad choice. I already know this. Don't ask me how I know, but let me say this. I know this. And so... Because
you're booking him, huh?
Well, you can't, but you can't turn back time, and you can't go back and change things. So now that kind of messes it up for everybody else out there that Tom potentially would go and do their show or hopefully for him to speak to the public. Because they're afraid of this happening again and repeating. Just like if you go back, let me back up, Deb. And again, I want to thank you for these points because they're really good. And everybody that's listening, Deb is not a plant. This is a real call. Is this if you go back to WikiLeaks when they did the email dump with Podesta, and part of those emails, were from Tom DeLonge. I had spoken, I'll say this publicly, I spoke to Tom that week 2 or 3 times. Had a bunch of email and phone calls and stuff. We were talking about things. And all the way up to, I spoke to him the day before, right? And then the email dump happened. And when that email dump happened, he shut down his phones, he shut down his email, and cut himself off from everybody. Everybody. And we were in danger then of Tom never speaking again. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him for that. So then here we have another, so he got all his stuff done and launched to the stars, comes back out again, and immediately, how does the media treat him? And Rogan, it's just the whole thing was handled wrong, and so if anybody out there wonders why, Tom isn't speaking in the future, or Tom isn't out there doing or we don't know, well, what do you think? If that's how he's going to get treated by a show as big as Joe Rogan's, there you go. And I don't blame him one bit. He doesn't have to do what he's doing. Tom does not have to do. I'm not defending Tom. I'll say this. If I had his kind of money and I'm a rock star, I would much rather be out there having fun, right? Private jets, flying around the world, vacationing, doing things, eating exotic foods, visiting countries, hanging out, throwing parties, touring with my band, writing songs, hanging out in the studio in my safe zone. Right? That's what, and so for Tom to come out and do that, he doesn't have to. And Rogan turning around, he's going to end up screwing it up for everybody. And that's just wrong. It's just wrong. As a professional, you don't do that. You don't. And if he would,
I feel like Joe had an agenda, was to discredit the whole thing. Is how it came across.
I'm not so sure. That's possible. Yes, we can go down that road. I mean, that's possible, but I'm not so sure about that. I think it's more about this. This is what I think. With somebody like Rogan, that has the fan base that he does, that with what he does, he's a UFC play-by-play guy. he's running with an adrenaline crowd. He's driven. So his fans and the comedy circuit and everything else, his fans prop him up for somebody that he is, right? That image. And so it's hard to escape from that and be objective. So mentally he's running in that zone sometimes. He gets caught up in that. And that's where I'm defending Rogan. But, and the reason why I said, look, I need to take a break, I really, really do. He's not going to, things like that. It's not going to change overnight. And I just don't want to get it polluted anymore. For me, I just, you know what? I'm backing up, and I'm just going to ignore that world for a while. It's just really unfortunate. We have other stuff to worry about in this community. I had said, that I think that we have more happy, cool things to go and see and discover than discuss this or to think about this. And that's why I haven't posted anything. I haven't responded. It's he does his thing, I do mine. I just think it's unfortunate. I really, really, I'd rather get information out of Tom than close him down.
And that's the reason I brought it up. I'm hoping that, after that experience, he'll give you a chance because he's been on your show. He knows how he'll be treated. And hopefully in the future, you'll be able to give him another interview and have him come on. That's what I'm hoping.
Well, yeah, and it'll happen. And I'm not going to be light. I'm not going to be throwing softballs at Tom. That's not it. But I'll show him the respect that I give to everybody. And that's it. Not everybody is like us, our community, in this show. And that I think that's evidence of that. And it makes me feel pretty good because that I've been accused of allowing anything to go. Well, that's part of it, though. If I didn't allow everybody to just say what they want or say how they feel or do anything, then they wouldn't. They need to feel like they can. And at that moment, Tom felt like he couldn't. And that's it. So that's it. The whole thing just it came unwound. Thank you, Deb, so much.
I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing in our community and that you're showing people how it's supposed to be done, and that's what I appreciate.
Well, I appreciate you appreciating us appreciating each other. Thank you, Deb.
Okay, Jimmy, take care.
Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You're live. You are live on Fade to Black. 3. I hate to do this, but you're going to make me do it. 3, 2. Are you there? 3, 2, 1. Man, I can almost hear something in the background. Okay. Well, that eliminates that. Maybe it was me. Let me reset the phones. Do that. Okay, that's reset. Let's do this one over here. Both phone banks are now reset. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. It is Fadernight. Open lines all night long. And I understand, Deb. The reason why I posted what I posted, I just posted it because I had just come off of watching that interview twice. So I had 3 hours invested. And as a host, I was just let down by another host. That's all, and I posted it. But that's it. No more comments or anything have come out of me in social. Or, it's not. But the reaction from everybody coming back was pretty positive. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, it's John T. from Twitter. How you doing, buddy?
John T. from Twitter. Okay, there's like 10 John T's. Which one are you?
Well, I'm the one that's called in before, and we got into a long conversation about the freedom of speech and all that.
Okay, John. I mean, fair Fair enough, but we've had that conversation about 100 times. But how you doing, man? Everything good?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City with an area code. Is that an Oklahoma City area code?
Yeah, 405.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Why was I thinking that was San Francisco? I have no idea, man. I have no brain. All right. So what's on your mind tonight, John?
Oh, I was just listening to the lady talk about Tom DeLonge, and man, I just really wanted to say that I appreciate the tone you set with Tom, and I really feel like he's been just knocked around everywhere. Like everybody seems to be jumping on the negative side of things. I mean, they're talking about how it seems like it's a cash grab and all of this. And I don't buy any of that. It's funny because I've worked with IPOs and investments, and I don't see anything shady going on here, but people seem to think there is a lot of shadiness. And I'm not here to defend them either. I just like the fact that you guys or that you're taking the positive tone, that you're seeing it for what I see it as, which is a way to get information out and to further the conversation. Not that it has to be the only way, but it is a way. And, I got into a discussion with somebody about how they don't like the fictional aspect of it. And then something occurred to me. All this secreted, classified information, if you tell it as a fictional story, you can protect sources.
That's it.
And you can get the information out.
That's it.
And so I'm like, why is it such a bad thing that it's fictional? So anyway, I just want to say that I appreciate the positive tone that you're setting, and it's nice to listen to somebody have something positive to say about it instead of reading all the negative stuff.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for that. But just once again, when you interview somebody, there is a way to allow comfort. You want comfort on both sides. I don't want to feel uncomfortable as a host, right? I can get slapped around and get taken back on my heels too, as well. And you want to avoid all of that. I've learned my lessons, and I have a style, but I think that all interviews out there, that interviewers that are successful, capture and hone themselves to do the exact same things. You want to be able to do that. That's all. There can be some very high pressure moments in some interviews, and you think about that, right? Of all those moments, and you know what? At that point, it can go in one direction or it can go the other. And if you keep control and you have comfort there, then you can get through it, and you can ask the hard and tough questions. That's all.
Well, and Rogan's all about that, right? But something's changed in Rogan over the years. Like, he used to be all about the UFO stuff, all about the conspiracies.
Right.
He really wanted to know. I mean, there's videos out there on YouTube of him that they've compiled about how he's going after the truth, and he wants to know, and he's a really smart guy, so he remembers a lot of facts.
Right.
And he can recall them very quickly and precisely.
Right.
And he puts it in a story that's compelling. And then all of a sudden, I saw a video, and I've been looking for it for weeks, and I can't find it, but there was a video clip of him saying, it was his face, he was saying it to the camera, and he said, all I want to know is if UFOs are real and aliens are real. And he said, if they will come and show me a body, show me a UFO, show me proof, I will make fun of everybody else from here on out. And I will ridicule them, and I will make fun of them, and I'll attack them. He said this, and I'm watching him say these words. And I wish I'd bookmarked the video because I can't find it now. But then after that, everything's changed.
Well,
and so I don't know if that means that he's seen something or not, but it's very different.
John T., thank you for the phone call, my friend. I got to head towards a network break right here. Thank you so much.
All right, brother. Thanks a bunch.
Yeah, great points right there. Man, sorry about that. I ran about a minute late, but I didn't want to cut John off because he's making some really good points there. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. And where's my music, man? Where's my music? Why isn't my music playing? Ah, here it comes. Oh, man. You got to love live radio. This is Fade to Black. It's Thursday night. It is Fadernight. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. More of your phone calls are next. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas. Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go Beckley Tappy.
And you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Ancient Life Oil. Life-changing. The real oil. CBD is truly ancient life oil from the source. This oil has no psychoactive effect and is also legal in all 50 states. When you're healthy, you're happy. The truth about this wonderful plant is that it wants to give back to mankind life, longevity, and happiness. Ancient Life Oil are golden grade, all organic, non-GMO, and infused with high-quality liquid coconut oil. It's simple. Just go to ancientlifeoil.com today. That's ancientlifeoil.com. The best, purest, organic, and non-GMO CBD in the world. Go Beckley Tappy. The statements made regarding these products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Please consult your healthcare professional about potential interactions or other possible complications before using any product.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's Thursday night. It is Fader night. Open lines all night long. Want to thank Jon Rappoport for coming in earlier tonight, bringing it big, his A game, like he always does. The call-in numbers are 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, it's Paul from sunny Southern Oregon. How are you?
Paul from sunny Southern Oregon. How you doing, Paul?
I am just absolutely awesome. I love Rappoport. His analysis was spot on tonight. You should get David Talbot on from San Francisco, an author who wrote a book called The Devil's Chessboard, who talked a lot about this. In any event, the megalomania, the
megalithomania. Yes. Last night.
Fantastic. Again, the analysis was absolutely correct. There was something going on worldwide in the past. It's just as plain as the nose on your face. I don't know whether it was a comet. I don't know whether it was an energy discharge that stopped it. I don't know whether it was disease, natural disaster. Who knows? But there has been something else here. No question about it.
Well, okay. Let me ask you this, Paul. What makes you say that, though?
There are just too many remnant pieces around the world. There are the remnants that we carry forward in story from legend. There are really interesting pieces that come out of the mystery schools, and then just the physical evidence that we keep turning up. It's remarkable. I think North America bore the brunt of whatever happened here. All of our stuff tends to be much later, with the exception of the buried stuff that you find in Rockwall. The further you get away from North America, the more, and using huge quotation marks, intact remnants we find of whatever was here. You see the commonality. You talked about scooped rock. There's something in that technology. I'm absolutely convinced of it. I can show it to you here in Southern Oregon that lasted up into maybe the 17th or 18th centuries. The same technology, remnants of that same technology, lasted a long, long time. It's just there. It's in Indonesia. It's possibly undersea in Japan. And then again, as I say, in all of the ruins, you see essentially the same thing in place. And it's hubris on our part to think we're the first people who got as far as we've got.
What did you think about the breaking news today about the chamber that was just discovered in the Great Pyramid? It's kind of exactly what you're talking about. We just don't know, and now we have this. Well, we are told that that's all there is, and then this discovery comes out today, and it surely is saying we've got a lot more to discover out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shakespeare put it the best. There is far more on heaven and earth than you will ever know, Horatio. That's just that's just the way it is. We're constantly going to be learning, and we are going to find that there is something in our past that we have lost. Do you know G.I. Gurdjieff?
Of course, Gurdjieff. Yes.
Right. Well. Rick Miller is my friend. You and I have talked before. And Rick and I were watching a Gurdjieff dance, and he's absolutely convinced that dance is passing on the patterns of a technology, some kind of I think he called it a Rodin coil or something like that. And he sees it in there. He's the genius. I'm the hapless understudy. But in any event, it's there. And it's waiting to be found by people who have open minds. Forrester, I think, does a good job of presenting a lot of this. Your author the other night, I think, did a wonderful job with this. And we will find more over time. There's no question about it. Now, was it space aliens? I don't know. I still don't see how they get here. I think that we're clever enough monkeys that over 250,000 years we could have developed somewhat different technologies that achieve the same goals that we have today.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go, Paul. Thank you for the phone call. All good points, and I think you're spot on with that. I mean, we just don't know. We don't know. See, I'll say this before I say goodbye. it is so easy to put the ET or alien element into our lost history because it answers all of the questions. You can just plug it in and it answers all of the questions, and it's very simple. And to go back with Occam's razor or to look at things in this fashion, well, you know what? Maybe not always the simplest answer is the right one. Maybe not. But that's why the alien question or ET question getting plugged in, because it answers so many questions and it's so easy that we have nothing else to go on but that. And I'm okay with that until somebody else comes in and gives us an answer. What I don't buy from historians, from anthropologists, from archaeologists, Egyptologists, whatever, is, well, you know what? We don't know, but you're not giving enough credit to ancient man. You know, we don't know how, we don't know, but, you know, that's not an answer. You know, it's not. What is an answer is, hey, man, maybe it's ET. Let's take a look at that. Well, at least that's a path to go on. Not the, you know, we don't know, but you know, that's what I don't buy. And that's it.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing I have is when it becomes the pat answer, then it's Deus et Machina, and I have a real problem with that. I was a student of a Lakota Sioux shaman, Wallace Black Elk, Black Elk's grandson of Black Elk Speaks, and we'd be walking along, and I'd ask him a question like that, and he'd just look at me and say, "Paul, it's a mystery," and that's where I have to leave it until we find out. Just like this new mystery, and I love that it's happening. Thank you for the time, Jimmy. One other question, and that is, whatever happened to the three-fingered critters in Peru?
Oh, you're talking about the okay. I don't know if I mentioned it on the show. I've got some updates. Yeah, I guess I can go ahead and do it now. This is the deal, and this is where everybody needs to. Wow. Those are one small and one very big dog.
Absolutely, and I'm very sorry about that. I'll take my answer off the air.
Okay, there you go. Oh, man. It sounded like somebody's breaking in. I hope Paul's okay. Is this, okay, update on the Nazca mummies. Are you guys ready? Let me watch Twitter here. Do you guys want an update on the Nazca mummies? Would you guys like that right now? Because I can give you one. The update is this. And I'm talking about the DNA testing. So there you go. And what is going on there. When you are doing that kind of forensic DNA testing, especially DNA as old as this, the older it is, the more damage the DNA gets. And then you have to reconstruct. You have to rebuild the DNA. One of the ways that it is done is you take the DNA, you take your samples, and you literally crush them into powder. And you then reconstruct. Now, that sounds pretty crazy when you are talking about 30 million of this and that, and it's a complicated process. This is how it is done, and this is the timetable. Every lab that is involved, of which there is 5 right now, out of those labs, they can reconstruct up to a few hundred per day. They have about, right now, 2 million constructs to get done. And they can get a few hundred done a day. And the number varies, 150, 200, 300 a day. Some days are better than others, but that's where they are at. They have a couple of million left to do. In our research, and Rita and I were looking into this a couple of weeks ago, and looking at these numbers and the way that this stuff is done, it is typical to reconstruct DNA like this. It takes 6 months to a year. Okay? Now, when we are looking at, we have a few different mummies down there that are being analyzed, and we have newer, smaller reptilian-ish mummies. We have the much, much, much older Maria, and she's 1,800 years old. And so some may take longer than others, but no matter what, we are talking about a long, long time. The DNA stuff has been worked on now for a few months, a little longer, May, possibly a couple of weeks before that. But it's May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So we're 6 months into this. 7 months, depending on how you want to look at it. Okay, it takes time. But that's where it's at. So there's about 2 million left to put together. They're doing a few hundred a day. Some days are better than others. But that's the latest update. That's the top secret information from the inside. Okay, they want this information. I'm talking about Gaia. They want this information out there just as bad as you do. Okay, just as bad. All of the other DNA, there was one DNA report that made it around the internet, had nothing to do with this. And the cost of, and when I say nothing. Okay, the cost of doing one of these tests, and they have a bunch of them going, is in the tens and tens and tens of thousands, maybe 50 grand, maybe more per test. Anybody out there that is distributing a DNA test, it's not this type of DNA test. It is impossible. There's just no way. Okay? There's no way to get 100% human DNA back on 1,800. It just doesn't work that way. All right? So be patient. The results, I guarantee you, I'll guarantee you this. The minute that those results are in, we here at Fade to Black will be the first to know. Okay? We will be the first, and we will get out there as quick as we can. Okay? So that's it. I'm not holding back anything. I am on top of it, and I'm constantly researching and pushing forward and trying to get all of the information out there. Gaia and everybody over there has no issues with me speaking about this. They have no issues with answering my questions. They have answered everything that I have ever asked. Okay, I've never felt uncomfortable. I've never felt like this is funky. And let me also say this about Nazca, just so you know. If which lab am I talking about? There are 5 labs. 5 labs. I can guarantee you the labs that I'm talking about aren't any lab that you know about. Okay? Oh, man. And there's reasons for that. Let me explain. None of the labs that are doing the testing right now knows of the other lab. Everything is completely independent. Nothing's going to get tarnished. There will be no leaking of information. Nobody's going to intercommunicate. There's nothing. Everything will be done completely independent, and it needs to remain that way. So, no, I am not going to say the name of the lab on the air. Any of the labs. There's that. Now, if it turns out that no matter what the results are, no matter what they are, when they come in, they will be broadcasted, no matter what the results are. If it's human, if it's 100% human, and these are sawed together, put together, and this is all a complete hoax, I'll air it here first. I'll air the hoax here first. If it is, no matter what the DNA is, if it's partially human, if it's human, if it's part alien, if it's part chimpanzee, I don't care. If it's part penguin, no matter what it is, I will air it here. And I'm speaking about Gaia, wants that same information out. No matter what it is, when the lab results come in, they will get broadcasted. Okay? All right? We want to know. Everybody wants to know. All right. With that, 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Okay, phone lines are open. Back to Giza, and thanks for the phone calls. Back to Giza. The dating, the construction, the dating of everything. I'm now more confident than I've ever been to say with 100% certainty that, first off, Khufu had nothing to do with the building of the Great Pyramid. He may have repaired it, but he certainly didn't build it. I know that there are researchers out there that no, they're okay with that, and that's fine. That's fine. No, the dating is pushed back. I am feeling like the 10,500 number is pretty good because of the astrological alignments and, of course, the end of the last ice age. The knowledge of how things were done, not only at Göbekli Tepe, Gunung Padang, other sites, of course, Pumapunku, other sites around the world, that knowledge came in probably from a few that were teaching. If you go back and you think about 2001: A Space Odyssey and think about that approach, not the movie, but the idea that there was a higher intelligence there that was jump-starting our knowledge here, right? Teaches fire, teaches this, teaches how to kill, right? That element, that idea, that part of it makes an awful lot of sense. So imagine now, Stone Age man, literally Stone Age man, where some gurus, some teachers, people of knowledge come marching over the hill, maybe driving, maybe flying, but come into your community and start teaching you things. Maybe how to write, right? Show you what a wheel is all about. Maybe some metallurgy, math, pointing towards the stars, and just things like this. How to carve, how to just, you're not going to teach Stone Age man how to build an electrical circuit. It wouldn't happen that way. But those baby steps to jumpstart society would, right? It makes perfect sense. And so you take that knowledge and you start to spread it. That same group, it seems, was at multiple points around this planet at the exact same time. Teaching. There is, without question, there was the Incas, the Aztecs, Mexico, Central America, Peru, were not in any direct contact with Northern Africa. For instance, we're not in any contact with Northern Africa, right? Indirectly, with the same teachers. Because if you look at, certainly in Mexico, when you look at the Sun Pyramid and you look at not only multiple pyramids, but the way that they are oriented, the directions that they are facing, the way that they are built, how they are built, very, very similar to other types of construction all around the world at the same time. And then you bring in the concept, and Rita brought this up a few times with me over the last couple of weeks. Beavers, well, a lot of nature, but let's go with beavers. The beavers in Siberia are not in communication with the beavers in Wisconsin, but yet they build the same dams, right? They're not in communication, but they're building the same dams. So is that the same thing that is going on with humans? That designing stairs, windows, construction, megalithic structures, blocks, bricks, right? Math, all of these things would have occurred naturally because it's in, check it, our DNA. Now, what if that is indeed the case, right? That inevitably, no matter what, certain things were going to happen. Fire, the wheel, math, geometry, engineering, agriculture, religion, all of these things would have happened anyway, right? And no matter what point of the planet that you are on, no communication with anybody. You're out on an island somewhere, and then you are, because of DNA, going to go through and do something. Well, it didn't happen in the Brazilian rainforest. It didn't happen on different islands. There are so many cultures that have been isolated, like the indigenous group off the coast of India right now. They don't have cell phones. They didn't go into that kind of development. They don't understand what an airplane is. And the direct contact with them has been avoided because they don't want to pollute that culture. They want to keep it pure. So maybe it's not in our DNA. So let's go back. We are taught. I've said it so many times. There are no inventions. There are no inventions. It doesn't work that way. There are no inventions. Nothing is fresh. Everything is taught. Well, Jimmy, man, what about the cell phone? What about Steve Jobs, man? What? No, he didn't invent the cell phone. Computers weren't invented by IBM. No, everything is taught, and you can go back and back and back, further and further and further. Packet switching goes way back before the invention of the internet. Now we can take packet switching back to World War II and before with torpedo technology and radios. That's and that was taught from something else and another concept, and it's handed down, going all the way back to 10,500 BC. Who is teaching who here? When you go back to Göbekli Tepe and you look at, I got to take a break here, but when you go back to Göbekli Tepe at 10,500 BC, who is teaching who how to quarry those blocks? Where does that come from? I'm telling you, agriculture, modifying wheat. I am telling you, no, there was not a caveman sitting in a cave, and his wife comes home and says, "Why aren't you out there getting us something to eat tonight?" And he says, honey, I'm thinking about this wheat thing. We need to modify wheat, and I'm pretty close to getting it done here. That ain't how it happened. It's just not. I just don't want to hear about it. All right, I got to take a break. That's what I do. When I go and ramble, the phones get ignored, everybody gets ignored, and I just do my thing like I just did right now. But it's the points that I try to drive home. That's what this show is about. Absolutely love it. I'll even get to some news, but I'll get to your phone calls when I come back. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. I'll be right back.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com. Hello, Fadernauts. This is Jimmy Church, and I'm introducing New Pharma, a company whose products are based on science. Human function based on the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. New Pharma firmly believes in this science, and their research indicates that support of the ECS provides the beneficial effects for a healthy lifestyle. New Pharma's science includes relief capsules for pain relief, sleep capsules, which are natural support for occasional sleeplessness. Foundation is support for your ECS, and Fit capsules support your active lifestyle. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2B for a 33% discount on all of their products. Or visit newpharma.com for all of the knowledge on the science. That's GNUpharma.com. Go Beckley Tappy. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. It's Fadernight, Thursday night, open lines, 323-825-5045. Or 323-275-9695, phone lines are open. It's Fadernight. It's your night, everybody. There you go. So what do you want to talk about? I'm fixated on this pyramid discovery in this chamber. What do you think it is? And why haven't they found it before? Why isn't there any knowledge about it, you know? So 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. I've been waiting for something like this for quite a while. There had to be something out there that was going to break. Also, you know, the chamber on the north side of King Tut's tomb and what was going on there. They put the clamp down on that pretty quickly. And I thought that was about to break, but this is now proven that there is a chamber there. I don't know what it is. I think that the size of it and the angle of it being right above the Grand Gallery is about as interesting as it gets. You know, and also I think, and I've talked about this before, and I'll get to the phones in just a second. I've spoken about this before, that whoever built in the construction of the King's Chamber, right? They've got it all sealed up, and they've got the trapdoors, and they sealed it. Who got left behind inside of the King's Chamber, right? There must have been a bunch of dudes in there. How did they get out, right? So they had to have an escape plan. So then they left the King's Chamber. They left the traps in place. They escaped the King's Chamber, move another block in and seal the chamber up and leave the pyramid. Where's that tunnel? You know, and what's going on with that? That's, again, I'm guessing here, but it's just the way that my brain works. There's no way you can move everything the way that the traps and the seals are designed on the outside, that it was done in stages. Somebody was left on the inside, and they had to get out. So they get out and they left. There's more inside of the Great Pyramid. And then we have 2 other pyramids on the Giza Plateau with apparently nothing solid blocks. You know that's not the case. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, Jimmy. Thanks for taking my call.
Who's calling?
This is Brian in southern Indiana. First-time caller.
Right on, Brian in southern Indiana. You know that's my neck of the woods. What part of southern Indiana?
Well, actually I live outside of Bloomington in a little old village called Hindustan, Indiana.
I've been there. What do you think about that?
You've been here? Oh, wow.
Man, I know Brown County better than you, Brian. What do you want to match me?
Well,
no, I'm
maybe.
kidding. Okay.
Yeah, maybe. I'm actually from Indianapolis, actually.
Well, so am I.
Well, let's talk about the pyramid, if you like.
Yeah, let's talk about the pyramid. I graduated from Warren Central High School.
Oh, wow, Warren Central, yeah. Actually, I went to Park Tudor.
You went to Park Tudor? Really?
I did. Graduated in 84.
I graduated in 81. See, there you go. We were neighbors and didn't even know it.
Didn't even know it.
Yeah, that's pretty trippy. Okay, Brian, now that I've got you back on your heels, let's talk about the Great Pyramid. What do you think's going on?
Well, I'll tell you, I was real fortunate, and I got to go on a trip in 1999 to Egypt that was sponsored by the National Geographic Society. My grandmother paid for my cousin and I to go, and it was a really rapid-fire trip, but we spent 5 days in Egypt, or was it 5 days in Cairo, maybe even, and only 1 day at the Great Pyramid in 99, which was really rather quick. But the point I'm trying to make is that I didn't get to go into the Great Pyramid that day because it was closed because the Egyptian government was tunneling into it.
Really?
Yeah, really. And I took pictures of that. And so on that day instead, I went into the Queen's Pyramid instead and walked around the Sphinx and then saw 2 or 3 other pyramid complexes the same day.
Right.
Now, my pictures, unfortunately, I took like 30 rolls of pictures. And a couple of days after I got back to the States, my truck was robbed and all my luggage was stolen with my photographs and some tools, too. So I was only left with some pictures that were left on my camera from the trip, which was very unfortunate. But I had a lot of evidence in those images of machine work on the stones.
What did you, okay, so you didn't get a chance to go into the Great Pyramid, but I find it even as tantalizing that you were watching them drill. What did they tell you? What were they, how were they drilling and what were they doing?
Well, it was from a distance. Of course, the site is so massive, at a couple vantage points from the base, you could see they had erected a tent on the side of the pyramid about halfway up, and they were operating under there. There was no information that came forward, and of course here in the West we haven't heard anything about any results of those investigations. But so it's possible to me, in my mind at least, that chamber had been known about for a long time, and now we're just getting wind of it.
Yeah, that's a possibility. That's a possibility, certainly. And that's a really, really, really good point. What did you tell me about Giza, though? You went down to the Sphinx. How did that make you feel?
It was incredible. And in 99, the tourism was starting to come back. After that, I think it was 97, there was a shooting of German tourists there or something that they were on a slow road to recovery, and now I hear it's just completely vacant, But there were still thousands of school children from around Cairo there on day trips when I was there, and the Sphinx was rather busy. But a couple of things to point out about that. Of course, there's the heavy erosion on the Sphinx, and the head is the wrong size. But in terms of the chambers inside, and what also inspired me to call was a recent article written by Jennifer Baum, who is, you may know David Hatcher Childress, his wife.
Right.
David publishes World Explorer magazine, and I actually used to manage World Explorer magazine for David Childress. I've traveled to the South Pacific with David.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. What did Jennifer say in the article? I didn't read it yet.
Well, she references old articles from 100 years ago, thereabouts, that describe chambers found in the head of the Sphinx. And I'll point out that in the older pictures of the Sphinx, you may see an entrance to those below the right ear of the Sphinx. There's a hole.
Yeah,
there was a hole.
There was a hole. They've in the quote unquote the repairs, right? The restoration, that hole has been filled in and covered up.
Yes, and that was shown to be an entrance to a chamber inside the head with stairs that led through the body down into lower chambers.
And
described in Jennifer's article.
And also there was a hole on the top of the head, right in the crown.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. You look at there's a couple of old photographs taken from a balloon above the Sphinx, and they've got a guy standing on top of the head, and there's clearly a hole on the top of the Sphinx as well, of the head. But see, you bring up one of the best points ever. I've always thought that the Sphinx was hollow, right? The whole stairway down the neck into the body underneath. I've often thought that's exactly what is going on, and that's just my imagination running away with me. But kind of like the Statue of Liberty.
Not according to Jennifer's article.
Right.
It seems plausible.
Right. Now, you said that you also you spent one day at the Great Pyramid. Where else did you go the other 4 days?
Let's see. Zoser. Went to the Zoser site. Zoser Pyramid.
Right.
I think past the Bent Pyramid and maybe to the Red Pyramid of Chapulter. Is that right?
Yes.
We also saw that day there was. Here's one thing that I really took note of about the pyramid complex, and the scale of it, of course, is so incredible. But the floor system, the extent of the floor system around the pyramids and around the Sphinx, there's a floor system there made up of the megalithic blocks of the white limestone. And I had a photograph of a block in particular that was at the base of the Great Pyramid, and the floor system was merged with the pyramid capstones. They were made as one. That is to say that the whole complex was built as one. And in the floor system, they found 5 chambers around each of the 3 pyramids. That's the Queen's Pyramid and the 2 big pyramids. That's totaling 15 chambers. But of the 15 chambers, I think like 3 of them had been looted in ancient times. One of them they've opened, and that contained the boat.
Right.
And we saw the boat, and we saw the chamber it came out of. And the other 10 or 12 chambers have been untouched.
Oh, really? Yeah, one of the, I'm not sure which side, I want to say it was Mankara, but they found the 40,000 vases.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. And you're right. I mean, they were... the complex itself, it's on a plateau, but those blocks that came out of, it's all limestone. That's the first thing. That was one of the easy ways that they were able to build the pyramids, because the limestone blocks are right there, or the limestone, and they were able to quarry it. But that's all one big. Right now, it's covered in sand. Underneath that, you're absolutely right. It is one big complex. That's what I was saying the other night, Brian, to Robert Schock. They need to go out there with a giant vacuum cleaner and just suck all of the sand out. There's no telling what you'd find.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. They'll be finding stuff there for hundreds of years. And I really admire Dr. Schock. I'd like to state about his theory about the erosion on the Sphinx walls, and I would just really want to question that being from rain as more likely having been from the flooding of the Nile.
Well, that could be, Brian, and there's... for me, and I want to thank you for the phone call, and go Hoosiers, right? But is this, the Sphinx was buried in sand forever. So to suggest that erosion was fresh from the last 5,000 years, when probably the last 4,000 years, it's been buried. It's been buried. It's been
that erosion. Yeah,
that erosion didn't
thousands of years ago. Yes,
right,
indeed.
right.
There's no question about that. And the Nile had to have been much closer to the pyramids at that time, and they can date that. And I don't know the results of that, but
no, that's exactly it. And that's the way that I look at it. Brian, thank you for the phone call, my friend.
You're welcome.
And go say hi to Johnny Cougar. He's right there. He's at a bar.
Yeah, he is. That's right.
I'll talk to you. Okay,
night.
Bye. If you think about it, and if you're on hold, stay right there. I'll get to you in just a second. If you think about it, the way that the sand was coming in and burying everything, they couldn't keep the sand cleaned out, right? And the Sphinx has been buried forever. So if you go back 4,000 years ago, probably all you saw was a head back then. Maybe even not the head; it was buried. So they want us to think and believe that erosion happened, what, in 100 years, couple of 100 years, 500 years? It did not. No way. I'm not buying it. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You are live.
Jimmy.
Yes.
Bruce from Austin, Texas.
Hey, Bruce from Austin, Texas. Hey, man, do you see my Stevie Ray Vaughan guitar?
No, I haven't.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry, I've been super busy with moving over the weekend. And
right.
Trying to continue to work. So my hands have been full.
Well, I got an SRV, man. It's hanging on the wall right behind me, right here. So if you go look on the bunker cam, you can see it. I got a couple of guitars up there, and you can see the SRV just hanging right behind my head. It's pretty cool, man. It's a beautiful guitar. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, what's on your mind tonight?
Everything. I mean, listen to just this week's shows and all the craziness that's gone on. I think it kind of boils down to this. We need to change our whole way of thinking. I mean, there's the haves and the have-nots. And unfortunately, I think we've been on the have-not end of the stick for a long time. The powers that be, and I think it all ties back to England. I think the powers that be only let us know what they want us to know.
Why? Yeah, but why? I mean, I agree with you, but we need to know why. Why do you think it is, Bruce?
I think that's the wrong question. Not to be rude, control would be my answer to that. They've got to have control. Look at all the history. I'm 59, so I've been through the peace marches, all of that, all the assassinations. We knew growing up, all this, it's got to be BS. And then the bits and pieces of actual facts that we have found out about everything, we know that it's all lies now. I mean, it to me, it doesn't matter why. It just matters that that's the way it is.
Well, you're answering the question why, and I appreciate that. But then there's the other part of it. What element of it is fictitious? If it's all fake, I mean, is it because of? And I understand, you know, the answer why is control. Okay, but do they do that through fear? Do they do that by accusations? Divide and conquer, get one group mad at another, and take us off of the focus of life and what is real. I mean, why the fear and why?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Why the fear and control? So if that is what it is on the surface, then you have to go back and try to peek behind that and get the answer of. Why control us? What's the intention of control? Is it to make money? Is it so they can continue operating behind some kind of cloak where, our eyes are off of the prize and we're not watching them and making sure the whole reason for the Constitution, the whole reason for transparency is to allow the people to control the government, to make sure that the government is not controlling them. That was the reason for our Constitution and forming this country. Today, we know that is certainly not the case. They tell us we can't tell you that because of national security. We can't tell you that because of we can't tell you. So they are sitting on a pile of secrets. And we're just out here for the ride. So why do it? What is it that is so secretive that we should know about it? That's what I want to know.
I don't think money. I really don't think money to the few that actually control everything. I don't think money is the issue. I think it's the power trip that's the issue. I think it boils down to good versus evil. They're just, I mean, they're using all of it. They tried to destroy this country with the Civil War. And look at the armies that they had posted in Mexico and in Canada, waiting to move in where they could take America back.
Well, what's interesting with what you were just saying, that it wouldn't be about the money, it's about the power. And most people would say, you know what, follow the money and then you're going to get your answers, right? Is the money's the root to all evil. But if it has turned out through many forms of laboratory controlled testing in environments where you give a human being, male or female, young or old, it doesn't matter. You give them the power of being the boss, right? They will go from being the boss to being out of control. And they are not paid. They're not profiting. They're not making money. Their companies aren't involved or anything like that. No, it's just the way human nature works. So once you get the taste of a little bit of power, a little bit of control over a small group or a large group of people, your ego takes over and you spin out of control and you turn bad. You turn bad, and it's been proven over and over again. Remember Jim Jones?
Oh, yeah.
Is that a great example of that, right? He wasn't rich. If you think about it, what they had going on down there in Guyana, and they were living in mud, right? Tropical rain and just brutal environment to live in. But what did he have? He had control of 1,000 people. He ran this thing in the middle of the jungle, and power corrupts, right? He wasn't getting rich. That's the last thing that he had was money, but he had power.
That's right.
He had power. And in the end, what did he do with it? He forced everybody to kill themselves. Why? Because he could.
That's right.
So I agree. I agree with this idea, with this theory of yours. It's very interesting. It's also perplexing because the other side of it, you know, you have the power angle, which is tantalizing. But the other side of it is all of these guys own companies. They all have stock. They all have an agenda. They are all trying to get richer. And the only way to do it is more war, more killing, and, you know, building more missiles and bullets and tanks and ships and aircraft carriers and airplanes and guided missiles and tomahawks and a nuclear weapon. And so that certainly is a catalyst to drive some of this. There was an article that came out today. Are you ready for this, Bruce? To upgrade our nuclear arsenal that Trump wants to get done, and he is. Are you ready for this? You know what the cost of it is?
I don't remember, but I know
$1 trillion. $1 trillion. Not a billion, not 2 billion, not 10 billion, not 20 billion. All big numbers, right? How about $1 trillion, $1,000 billion into the pockets of those guys that are in power? So think about that for a second. You know, what drives madness? Well, you know what? $1 trillion would make up some crazy minds, wouldn't it? Am I wrong?
I don't mean that. I can only laugh because I have to laugh because it's so sad.
I know, right? Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. So jump over to my Facebook page and go look at that new SRV guitar I got. It's pretty cool.
I will do that. And I didn't get around to getting y'all's stuff sent this weekend. I wound up steam cleaning carpets all night long Sunday night. That was not in my plans, but it was announced to me that it was in my plans. So I ran short of time, but I will get y'all taken.
Don't you worry about a thing, man. And we'll get you some stuff out there too, man. Thank you so much. Hey, you were supposed to get me.
I'd like to get back with you. You had told me to hit you back up on Twitter about the answers that I got from, I can't think of her name off the top of my head.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Listen, I've got to head towards a commercial break, but I need the shirt sizes of the bartender, okay? And whoever else over at Guero's. Man, I love Guero's. I love Guero's. Hey, can they send me some tacos? That's what I want to know. Can they freeze dry? Can they pack them on dry ice and send me some tacos? I'll talk to you, Bruce.
I don't know about dry ice, but I got a friend of mine that does just that stuff. He's in that business of shipping stuff like that. I will talk to him and let me know what kind of tacos you want or what food you want, and we'll get it sent to you with the stuff.
Bruce, you're the best, man. Thank you so much. And give my best to everybody in the great city of Austin.
I will do it.
Have a great night.
And by the way, man, my hat's off to you as an interviewer. You were very, very sharp.
Oh, Bruce, stop it. The check's in the mail. I'll talk to you. Thank you. Thank you, Bruce.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too, man. Austin, Texas, in the house. Austin, Texas. It's right there. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. 323-825-5045 or 323-825-9695 275-9695. This is Fade to Black, bespoke radio for the masses. It's Fadernight. Open lines all night long. I'll get to more of your phone calls right after this short break. You stay with us.
Here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church on jimmychurchradio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
So you went to dinner last night, you had your favorite pasta. Ugh. Or maybe you had a heavy, spicy meal and it left you. Ugh. Get the tea.com. Maybe you mowed down a huge steak and your plumbing is all plugged. Ugh. Get the tea.com. Our super strength tea will take care of your occasional. Ugh. It's all organic and non-GMO. Get rid of ugh. We have so many great supplements, but our super tea is number one. GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of fade to black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hey, can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. The holidays are coming. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Thursday night, Fadernight. Open lines all night long. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Before we go back to the phones, a couple of things I need to get in here. Check this out. First off, and this goes out to our friends over in the UK. 6 years after Britain's first fracking operation was stopped by earth tremors, earthquakes, people being woken up in the middle of the night, earthquakes in Great Britain, right? So they stopped the fracking. Well, now the United Kingdom shale gas industry is about to try it again, allegedly with the technology that could transform the UK gas market and drastically reduce its reliance on imports. Remember, man, it's an island nation, right? So, and if you think about it, pipelines and other ways to get natural gas and other things, that's how it, unless you're going to boat everything in, then that's how it would have to get done, right? Well, they stopped fracking. They stopped it. But even and when we talk about the sensibility of most European countries, right? The culture, the refined, they understand things. They've been around for a long time, and they just do things differently than us crazy Americans over here. We just don't know what we're doing here in the United States, and I get that. I understand that. Driven by greed. So you would think that when the earthquake started over in the United Kingdom and they stopped the fracking industry and they stopped it in its tracks, that maybe even the United States would learn from that. But no, even the government over there in Britain can be manhandled by lobbyists, by money, by big corporations. Because now the UK expects to begin fracking at its Preston New Road site in Lancashire, in the northwest of Britain, at the end of, are you ready? Next month. December. That's it. And they're going to start full-on fracking early next year. And I want to know, my friends over there in the United Kingdom, are you cool with this? And who is making these decisions? And you guys had 6 years of no fracking. I could just imagine how wonderful it would be here in the States if we had no more fracking, no more earthquakes in Oklahoma and Texas and Kansas. We had earthquakes where we never had earthquakes before over here. We know exactly what's going on. The trippy thing about fracking for me, if you think about this, Mother Nature has a pretty good system in place of balance. There's no positive without a negative, and the pressures of things and the way that things are going on underground. But you start doing things, injecting chemicals and damaging the water table and things that are going on underneath the surface. And you start doing that, we are talking about millions, if not billions of years of settling and formations and things where, it's sort of stable, sort of. But you don't want to go and mess with that stability. And that's what fracking does. Now the efforts of shale production and fracking and what they have done and the dependence on foreign imports and foreign oil and gas and things here in the United States, certainly things have changed. Certainly things have changed for us here. We're now the number one energy producing nation in the world. It wasn't like that. Everything was imported here at one point, or it seemed like that. And our dependence on that was something we didn't have a control of. And look at the embargo of 1972 and what we went through there, right? And I know that the mentality of Washington and this country in general was, man, we cannot go through that again. We were held hostage, literally held hostage here, and never really recovered from not only the embargo, but the way that the gas prices were jacked. It never really came back. That being said, I would have thought that the United Kingdom, when they eliminated fracking, it would have stayed that way. But it's the dependence. It's the dependence. They're being held hostage. So there you go. I want to know what, the United Kingdom, we have a large audience over there. What do you guys make of that? And how did this get, snuck through? Are you guys cool with it? I don't think you are. All right. Here, oh gosh, some of the biggest news to come out. And again, underneath the radar, very, very, very underneath the radar is this. It's another day, my friends. And it's another billionaire space travel company. All the rich guys, all of them, every single one is building some kind of space agency. All right? And it doesn't matter, man, if you're Paul Allen, Elon Musk, a lot of that's what they want to do. It's not that expensive. If you think about it, it's not that expensive. Well, here we go. It's Richard Branson. He's got a new division that he's just expanded with his not one, not two, but 3. That's the number, 3 space-based companies. His newest is called Vox, V-O-X, Vox Orbit. Vox Orbit's particular niche will be commercial and government contracts. Now, based out of Southern California, right here in the Mojave Desert, and I'm quoting here from Vox, Vox Space provides the national security community, yeah, right, of the United States and allied nations with responsive, dedicated, and affordable launch services for small satellites bound for low Earth orbit. Interesting, right? Now, according to its website, an insider wants to rebuke that. An insider now says that the business will be roughly 90% commercial and 10% spy agencies. The company is wholly owned by subsidiary Virgin Orbit, which itself is a spin-off of Virgin Galactic, founded more than a decade ago with the goal of selling suborbital space flights to tourists. The company has been making steady progress towards that goal, and earlier this year, its Spaceship Two conducted its 6th successful glide test. What is it about that? It is so interesting. This is when I look at the reasons for stopping the Apollo program, right? Too expensive. The reason for stopping the space shuttle program, too expensive, right? Why we didn't have a replacement for Apollo in place, don't know. Why we didn't have a replacement for the space shuttle program, I don't know. When the space shuttle program ended, I immediately thought this, and it's been a long time now. I immediately thought this, okay, they've got another space shuttle. It's already designed, and we're going to see it here in a couple of months. They're going to whip it out, and they're going to say, okay, here we go. And, of course, that wasn't the case. And the other aspects of all of this that started to be revealed to us, like we didn't have a really good rocket engine, so we were getting our rocket engines from the Soviets. They built a better engine than us, and now we are held back and bound by Russian technology and the ability for Russia to sell us rocket engines. Now, wait a minute. What happened to American ingenuity? What happened to these ambitions? What happened to space? It all seemed to stop dead in its tracks. Cost and development and the space, and we had other issues. And then it turns out, nearly immediately, Musk comes into play, Paul Allen comes into play, Richard Branson comes into play, and they've all designed privately solutions to all of this stuff, and they've got this stuff cranking. It's Musk that is going to get to Mars first, allegedly. How did we get here? Right? Think about this for a second. Space tourism in private hands, solution, done. Right? New rockets, bigger, better, done. Better engines than the Russians, private, boom, done. Everything that our government told us that we couldn't do. Are you saying that? Are you saying that we should have done this all along? We have the brains, we have the engineers, we have the scientists, we have the ability. Why weren't we doing this the entire time? We would be decades ahead of where we are right now. But Musk is like, hey, man, we're going to be doing this in 2018, 2019, 2020. Think about what is going on. For me, it is just mind-blowing. And here we go, another announcement like this. All right, back to the phones. 323-825-5045 or 323-275-9695. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. How you doing, Scott?
Jim, you got me biting at the chomps again.
Why?
You're right. What the hell have we been doing for the last 80 years? I mean, Darren Kuyu, Gobekli Tapley. Have you seen Giorgio Sukli on Twitter today? He was going crazy.
Yep. Yes, yeah. Oh, you follow Giorgio, huh? But it's pretty. It's when we think about, Scott, and I want your opinion on this, because when we think about certain things, one, lost history, and if we have been listening to the Egyptologists, there is no reason to go and investigate anything in Egypt ever again, right? It's all figured out. They've got it dialed in. Well, apparently that is not the case, right? And then if you on the other side of the coin right now, with what is going on with space is being figured out privately at a pretty fast clip. Right? I understand technology, and I understand computer power and designing and CAD systems, the ability to do this. But SpaceX is landing used rockets on a frigging barge in the middle of the ocean. It's just like, why weren't we doing that 30 years ago? You know, and apparently Musk and his crew has got things pretty dang figured out pretty quickly. And we had NASA Ames and Houston and Cape Canaveral and just hundreds of thousands of people and engineers and production facilities and all of this stuff in place. And we just stopped all of that, you know, mothballed it, the space shuttle, all of that done. And Musk and Paul Allen and Richard Branson in very short order have got everything figured out.
Well, I just think they went around it. They said, if you're going to sit there and be still, we're just going to explore this without your help, because for some reason they just didn't want to do it. That's how I see it. I mean, hell with it. We're just going to do it ourselves then.
You think so?
That's the way I see it. Yeah, I really do. I mean, if mankind cannot progress enough from NASA and all the exploration that has just all of a sudden stopped with the rocket engine in the 60s, supposedly, there's got to be something else, so we're just going to go around it.
What do you think about the possibility of a secret space program that has been running in the background that we don't know about?
I saw, you know, we going back to Tom DeLonge when he was with Joe Rogan. He was showing this triangle spaceship, and I went and checked it out, and you could see the spaceship, and all of a sudden there's a ball in the middle of this triangle spaceship, and then bam, it was gone. Joe Rogan thought it was fake. I looked at it, and I thought it was pretty real. I think there is a secret space program going on, and I think it's been going on for a long time, and I think it's been hidden from everyone here, and we're fools.
Yeah, that video, I don't, you know, I think that the video itself is some pretty awesome CGI, but that doesn't mean that there are other triangle videos out there that are real, because I photographed a black triangle myself, so I know that they exist. I photographed it on film. I have the picture. One day I'll show it to you, and it's pretty incredible to look at. I don't know what it is, but it is a black triangle. Now, and this was photographed by me on the California coast up in the clouds. So, it's not, it's way, I photographed it in 1995 or something like that, way before digital cameras were out and so forth. But that's beside the point. That video that he showed, I think it's pretty clever CGI. It may be real. I'm not saying that, I don't know everything. But what is going on out there versus what we know is two totally different things. Two totally different things. Scott, if somebody exposed you to the real technology of what is going on out at Area 51 or Dugway and, the real technology of the real things, I think our minds would be blown. And then you would start to figure out that quite possibly that thing that I'm looking at over there looks eerily similar to all of these reports that have been going on around the world for the last 10, 20, 30 years. So quite possibly it is our own technology, but they're not telling us about it. And I don't even see the problem. See, this is the other aspect of it that I find disturbing. The question is this: well, why aren't they using, this technology in war? How come we're not seeing this technology in war? And that's an obvious question. Why, if we have all of this advanced air power and the ability to do this, why don't we see evidence of it? Why isn't it out there? You know what? If I'm the president and I know, or the head of the military, and you're not going to use this stuff. You're not going to show this stuff. You are not going. You wouldn't. And if we did use it, and we probably have, we don't know about it, and the enemy doesn't know either. They don't know what hit them. And that's what you keep that stuff secret.
It's like playing poker. You don't want to show your hand. No. And it is so good, and it is so advanced that the enemy doesn't even know. Look, a B-2 bomber, a B-2 stealth bomber, the only reason why a country knows that it was used against them is because we told them. They wouldn't see it coming. They wouldn't see it on their radar. They wouldn't know anything until the bombs drop, and they wouldn't even see it leaving the country. The only reason why anybody knows is because we tell them what we've done. And that's the truth. All right. Hey, Scott. Go ahead, real quick. I was going to ask you a quick question. That video from up at the ranch, did you guys ever come to any conclusions about that ship that flew by and that guy that videoed that up at the ranch?
Oh, you're talking about Ryan Weidler, his video. Yes. I've got a couple of more videos from him. I haven't been able to go in and watch and do the proper analysis, but I will put a video together and get that stuff out as soon as I can. The video itself, it stands on its own. It stands on its own. It is what it is. It's an unmolested video. I got the actual video from him. I got the file, and what is in the video is what is in the video. It's nothing more. It's nothing less. It's not CGI. It's nothing. It's an object clearly flying high above, and it's big, and it flew out behind the trees.
Well, Jimmy, peace, and I love your show, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott. Behave and be well, man. We'll see you on Monday.
Take care.
Great phone call. Stay on the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, it's Jay in Atlanta. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Jay. How are you?
Hey, answer me this question. I've been hearing for the last few hours about some EMP drill going to happen between the 4th and the 6th of this month. What do you know about that?
Now, I've heard the same thing. I don't know. I don't know. I need some more information on it that is more concrete than what you're hearing and what I am hearing. Do you remember? Let's go back to God. I can't remember what it was called, but it was the massive drill in the southern United States. Like 9 states. What did they call it? Where they were going to bring in all of which they did. They brought in the Marines, and allegedly there were tunnels underneath connecting all of the Walmarts. You remember that? Oh my God!
Yeah.
All right. And what that was about. Now it was real. The operation was real, but it wasn't this big, satanic thing with the military that it was probably, they were going to start filling up the FEMA camps and all of that. But so I hearken back to that. We need to be very careful on what we want to be alarmed by, because if an EMP attack happens from, it can come in a few different ways. But if it comes from North Korea, right, or some attack, not a whole lot you can do about it. Our infrastructure is screwed. I was
trying to explain this to people. Like I said, if it's a solar flare or an EMP, there's not going to be very much you can do. But deal with, the aftermath of it. That's pretty much it. So why would they drill for even something like that? That makes no sense to me.
Yeah. So is the drill real? There's nothing to drill for, right? There's nothing to prep for. There's nothing to prep for. I mean, if it happens, every car is going to be parked. That's the first thing. Every cell phone is going to be useless. Your telephone. Yeah,
every plane's going to fall out the sky. It's going to be, just crazy.
Well,
there's that, and I know that. So.
There's that aspect of it, but also electricity, news, satellite, direct TV, radio. All of that is where in the affected areas are going to be kaput. How long it's going to take to replace the infrastructure and the transformers and all of the exploded power lines and everything else. What we need, Jay, the only thing that's going to prevent a large portion of that is to get everything underground. Get everything underground. All of the cables, all of the transformers, and the scarier part about that. For me, is the nuclear power plants. Now they need electricity to create electricity.
Electricity, yes, that's right. That could be an ugly scene, man.
That would be. Could you imagine a few hundred Fukushimas at the same time? Whew, no, man. So
I can't.
And it's one thing to think about North Korea, but it's another thing. Coming from our own sun as something natural that, absolutely 100% no defense and taking out the satellites and everything else all at once. It's a scary thought. That's why you need new mana.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. Well, Jimmy, I appreciate it, man. I just wanted to come to my source, which is you, to find out what you might know. But we're on the same page, so that's cool.
We'll figure it out, Jay. And thank you so much. Last call of the night, man. Be safe out there.
You too, man. Talk to you later. Bye.
There you go. Thank you, Jay. And that, concludes another Thursday night Fader night here on Fade to Black. Thank you to everybody. The tweets tonight were amazing. Email, really good. All of the phone calls, absolutely crazy. And I didn't get to the rest of the news that I wanted to tonight, and I don't have any more time. Why? Because I, quite frankly, have to get out of here. And there you go. This has been Fade to Black. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Kamarian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Mark D. Kovar, Renee, LJ3. I'm losing my notes. Where did they go? Man, you gotta love live radio. Thank you, Jonas. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar, Fady Bidale, Webmaster Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. Thank you to Jon Rappoport. NoMoreFakeNews.com. This broadcast is only copyrighted 2017 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Until Monday, I want everybody to be safe. Go Beckley Teppy.